and enjoy this evening. Thanks, Pam.
Okay, thank you. And again, I'm sorry I'm having technical difficulties with the camera here. My Zoom did an update and then it did not work with my camera. And I fought with it for about 20 minutes before this meeting. And since I'm mostly going to be sharing my screen and sharing PowerPoint, I didn't think it was as crucial as being late or delaying this meeting when there were so many people in it. So I apologize for not smiling at you, but please know that I am smiling. So we're going to cover a few things about cybersecurity and keeping yourself safe online. This is tantamount because so much of what we do is internet based, from our Alexas to she just announced herself behind me, our connected devices, our iPads, everything that we use. Goes back to who we are and something that's called a digital footprint. So just like when you're leaving footprints in the sand, people know where you've been or can follow you. You have something called a digital footprint, and it's something you need to be mindful of as you use technology. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show a few PowerPoints. And I also want to show some like examples of phishing emails so we can look at them together. And let me just put this to, whoop, get out of my way here, slideshow. Not now. Everything's being updated these days. Okay, let me get this out of the way. Right. So these are the Lazarus Family Tech Labs.
They're not
It
Lazarus.
looks like and it's also being translated in Spanish right now. Hang on. Okay, so the first tip I'm going to give you is to always use a strong password. And creating a password is usually kind of a nightmare because you're like, oh, it's got to be so many characters. Oh, I need to add a character. And you trying to change your password or use your password or you're signing up for something. So here is my strong password tip. Make a sentence and the first letter of each word is going to be part of your password. So think of a sentence like, I love my mother. She is the best person ever. Now, when I make password, I'm going to think of ILMM. So I'm taking the first letter of each of the long sentence. And it's really easy for me to remember that sentence and very difficult to crack that password because it's just going to be a mix of all different letters. Makes no sense to anybody else. So if you want to make a long password that's secure, and then of course you add an apostrophe or a number at the end of it, so you make it possible for them to do it. So that was my first tip for making strong passwords. Now, when you go to websites, and I'm going to demonstrate this, you want to make sure that HTTPS is in the front of it. And I'm going to show you an exact example for this. That means the S means secure. That means that they are doing the right thing to take care of you. If it just has HTTP and no S for secure, that may not be a good website to visit. And I'll show you an example of this. And I'll show you a very good example of this because the RoJam library has done a great job and they have an S. And I'll show you that as an example. Okay, so let's go through some vocabulary here because there are a few things that can make your life difficult. And there's all these different terms, and I want to make sure you understand the difference between these words and these definitions. Now, the first one is something called malware. Now, malware, think of it as like a burglar who opens the window to get into your house to try and do something to you, steal from you or mess with you or cause harm, but it's only going into your house. And that is what malware is. And usually once it gets in, it starts doing things it shouldn't be doing, like sending emails to your family or your friends. So malware is something that gets into just your computer, just yours. Okay. Phishing. Phishing is a lot like trying to fish for actual animals within a lake. So if you picture fishing, you've put some bait on your pole and you're whipping back and you're throwing it into the water, and you're not sure which fish you're going to catch with that bait. You're going to dab it around and see if you can catch it. A phishing email is the same thing. They just send out a bunch of emails with links in them, trying to see who they can catch. What if they can get personal information out of you? And I'll have some examples in a short moment of phishing emails, and we'll look together and see if we can figure out how they're trying to trick you. Now, a virus is a lot like a biological virus that goes from person to person. A virus is one that is designed to go from one device to another device. So if you've ever gotten in an email and suddenly all of your friends are saying, hey, I think you've been hacked, or you have something on Facebook, you just sent me all these crazy emails, because it's designed to travel and go. So a malware was just trying to get into your house and mess around. A virus is trying to go out and about and around. Now, virus protection will try and protect you from viruses and malware, but the best virus protection you can have is your own brain. If something feels strange or off to you, you're probably right. So if you were walking down the street, and suddenly you get this creepy feeling, you know how to protect yourself. You'll decide to go into a store, or maybe you'll call a friend, you'll change directions. It's the same thing. If something feels strange online, listen to your instincts and take a moment to think, or even call a friend and ask their opinion. Okay. Now, spam is something that we deal with too, and it's kind of like junk mail. It's really not going to hurt you other than being so annoying. Takes over your inbox. It shows up maybe in your Facebook feed, and it's something we can get rid of, and I'll show you how to do that, but it's not necessarily harmful. It's more annoying, and it's just clutter, and it can be deceptive at times, but we will show you how to get rid of that too. Okay, so let me just stop sharing your second and see if there's any questions so far out there. You can either unmute your microphone with a question, raise your hand, or put it in the chat. And I'm going to just turn off my captioning while we do this too, because I want to be able to you to read these examples that I have. And Beth, if you see any questions, if you could read them out to me. Mm-hmm. No questions so far. Okay, let me see slideshow. Where is it? Rehearse timing setup side of the board. I'll just use it without
I have
this.
a question.
Okay, go right ahead.
If I think I have a virus, is it, and I want to send it to one of my friends or son to see if it's a virus, is that, you can't do that? You shouldn't do that?
I would recommend against that. That's an excellent question.
Okay.
I would describe it for them, give them a phone call and say, hey, this is what I got. This seems kind of fishy to me.
Okay.
What do you think?
Right.
And when in doubt, you can also contact the person who sent it to you.
Uh-huh.
So if you
Okay.
think it's fishy and it's like it's coming from like if my sister sent me something and she says, "Hey, this is a great deal I just got is 50% off and you got to click on it now, otherwise you're not going to get it." I may call my sister and say, "Hey, you just sent me an email about a coupon. Did you really send that to me?" You
Yeah.
know, and
Okay.
usually anytime there's anything that has urgency to it, where they're trying to, you got to do it now, you got to do it now. And we're going to see that with that's when you really stop and take a closer look at what they're sending you. It's an excellent question.
Okay. Thank you.
But yeah, and just, or if you're going to send it, if you want them to look at it, also make sure they know I'm sending you something that seems strange. Don't
Mm-hmm.
click on, because if it's strange to you, they may not be paying attention, or their kids might be distracting them, the dog's jumping on them, and they may not be looking as closely as, oh, mom just sent me something or auntie just sent me something. Make sure that they know that you're sending them something to evaluate as well, because you don't want
Okay.
them to mistakenly get
Good.
tricked. Okay. Great
Yep.
question.
Thanks.
Sure. Okay, so let's look at a
I have a
few.
question.
Oh, please go ahead.
I don't know how, I don't remember how to raise my hand. So you just mentioned um 4 different problems: malware, phishing,
Mhm.
virus, and spam. Will you
Yes.
tell us, let's assume that we have had these experiences or we have that problem now. Can you
Mm,
explain how we get rid of these things as you go
yes,
through the discussion? Okay, thank you.
absolutely. And in fact, I'm going to show you examples right now, and we're going to analyze a few different phishing and spam and I did things too, and we'll look at it and see what looks right and what looks wrong about it. All right, so let me share this with you. Okay, and I'm not going to bother going full screen, just so you can see it. So I'm going to read this out loud in case anyone can't see it. It is sharing, right, Beth?
Yeah,
Beth?
it's
Okay.
it's a little smaller, but I think everybody can read it, I think.
Okay. So this is a pretend email, and the subject is urgent. Unusual sign-in activity detected from support@secure-emailservice.com. Dear valued customer, we've detected unusual activity on your account from different location. To keep your account secure, we need to verify your identity immediately. Please click the link below to confirm your account. If you don't verify within 24 hours, your account will be locked for security reasons. Best regards, customer support team. Okay, so let's share a little bit here. You can either put in the chat or you can unmute your microphone. What are a few things that seem a little odd about this email in front of you? Any
This is
thoughts?
Marie. Yeah,
Okay.
first of all, if it says from different locations, if you're the only one using it at one spot,
Mhm.
obviously that, you'd know that something's amiss there. And then the
Yes.
other thing is, when they ask to confirm an account, it's like, no, 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 just don't even think about it.
Yes. Two very good ones right there. Excellent. Okay.
Amazon Prime is not a .org.
You're right. Excellent. Good spot. So look carefully at the links. Beautifully done. So then there's actually an extra A in there too. It's a Primia.org
Didn't catch that one.
and login. Excellent. Excellent. Now, how about this part here? Dear valued customer. That they're
No.
not addressing
Yeah.
you.
Exactly.
It's just out there. This is a phishing thing. They've sent out thousands of these hoping to get you. They also have the word urgent. Do it in 24 hours. You're going to be locked. They're throwing in a lot of emotionally charged, you're in trouble. This isn't going to be good for you. Do it now. They're trying to make you feel like this is that it's a problem if you don't do what they want. Okay, so this is one that you could either delete or block. And when we go into my Gmail, I'll show you how you can block. them from contacting you again. All right, excellent.
Pam, it also says, well, I mean, just that if you don't see the actual link for Prime, AA, Amazon, whatever, customer support team from where? And obviously they don't know it's you. So it's kind of from unknown, and
Yes.
the whole thing doesn't say anything other than you better click here for whatever reason.
Exactly. And here's another one too. It's coming from support@secure email service, but it wants you to go to a completely different URL. So like if it was like your AT&T bill, it would be AT&T.com and the link would be AT&T.com, and you would expect the email. It wouldn't come out of the blue. Excellent work, guys. All right, so let's look at another one. It's kind of like being Nancy Drew. Okay. All right, this one's pretty obvious, but I figured I'd throw it in there. Congratulations, you've won a $1,000 gift card from notifications@bigwinners.com. Hello, lucky winner. Once again, they're not talking to you. They're talking about anybody. We're thrilled to announce your email was selected to win our $1,000 gift card giveaway. Claim your prize. Provide us with your mailing address and a processing fee of $50. Click here to claim your prize. Again, what do we have here? Act fast. Okay. Can we, do you see, who could see a few things in there other than the ones I was kind of.
I have a question. Would you see that HTTPS on any of this stuff, or that you don't see it on this kind of thing?
Not usually, not
Okay.
usually, because the HTTPS, and that's an excellent question, means that the webmaster has created an extra secure site, and it's been verified by ICANN, the people who manage it. So the fake people will not have a secure site because they're running their server like on a little computer underneath their desk somewhere or in a closet in a country far flung on the country. They're not like a legitimate source. They're not doing it right. So that's an excellent question. So yes, the link would probably have an HTTP. All right, so let's look another one. Yes, here.
So they're asking for your email address. And obviously, if you've received this email, they would have, they would have your email. And then if you didn't, make an entry for this, it would be like, how can they say that they've randomly chosen, what I've put in? We've actually gotten this one before.
You've seen this one.
We've seen this one. Yes. Yes.
Yep.
And anything involving money.
Yes. And processing fee.
Right.
Here. Processing fee. Yep. And I actually, unfortunately, had a friend who got scammed because he got a phone call saying that it was Apple and they detected problems and they asked him to buy gift cards in order to pay to fix his computer and to supply the gift cards to fix it. And the reason why they'll ask for gift cards is it's a gift. They haven't robbed you. They haven't stolen money. You've given them a gift card. Mm-hmm. So anytime someone is online saying, pay us in gift cards, that's another big red flag because legally they haven't robbed you. You've given them a gift of a few gift cards. And my friend actually went to Walmart. My mom's nodding her head here. It's a friend here in our neighborhood. Yeah. He went to Walmart and he got $1,000 worth of gift cards. Wow. And then he gave the card numbers and the pins to the person online. And the guy then, supposedly fixed his computer, but all he did was give over all the gift cards.
And Al's a college graduate.
Yeah. And my mom's so sweet. She says, and our friend is a college graduate with a master's degree, and he was so embarrassed that he got tricked, but anyone can be tricked. It's really, it's a true thing, so don't feel bad if you've been tricked in the past. They work hard at this. But just know that they try these things. Now, here's another one. Exclusive deal, lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks. We know. Losing 20 pounds in 2 weeks is kind of impossible. Okay, they're offering a miracle diet pill. No diets or exercise, just take the pill. 50% discount to email subscribers.
Yeah.
Yeah, mom's saying she got this one, okay? And you didn't go for it, right?
No,
Okay,
because you
good.
told me not to.
Because I did, I told you not to, it was a bad idea. Okay, health and happiness, the amazing offers team. Again, addressing you as a friend. Don't wait. You know, they're offering you something emotionally wonderful and or false. Okay, let's look at another quick example. Now, this one is an important one, and this is the kind of stuff that usually is what gets the malware. Overdue invoice payment required immediately. Now, I just put accounts unknown company for here, but the attachment is a PDF. PDFs, and that is, you could tell it's PDF right here. It says a .pdf. That means it's a file that's attached to it. PDFs are usually the type of file that are used to get into your computer and give you the malware. So it's like that burglar jimming your window to get into your house. Whenever you see the attachment is a PDF, look closely at the email. So let's look at this together. You have an outstanding payment due for the invoice, blah, blah, blah. We kindly request you settle this invoice promptly to avoid any late fees or service disruptions. Please find the attached invoice and let us know if you have any questions. Thank you for the immediate attention to this matter. Now, this could be, you know, coming from your fuel company, and usually what the phishers will do is they'll pick a big company. So like your Amazon account, your Walmart account, one that they know millions of people use. Or they'll say you have a UPS delivery and we're having trouble delivering your account.
I've gotten those kind of things.
That's often, yeah.
Yeah, that
But
one
Pam-
happens a lot.
Pam, this one
And the-
doesn't even say in the email where it doesn't say Amazon or any other
Right.
company.
Well, I
So-
left it blank on purpose because I
Okay.
wanted to, I mean, because I constructed this one,
Yeah.
but I wanted to really pay attention to this because you're like, it's really short, it's kind of vague,
Mhm.
it kind
Very
of
vague.
is on the edge of maybe this is real, especially if you happen to have an account with AT&T or you belong to Key Bank. Sometimes they'll say something like that. And you'll click the attachment to look at it. Just look at it and say, what is this?
Mhm.
And the invoice will look normal too, but then you look at the invoice and now this ain't right, and you'll close it. But because you clicked and looked at that PDF, that's how they get the virus or the problem on your computer. So whenever you get anything like this and there's an attachment, call your company, call AT&T, call Verizon, call whoever and verify that they're really sending you an overdue notice or something like that when there's attachment. Whenever something strange like this and you're not sure and you're like, let me just look at the invoice. Maybe don't click the invoice. Call whoever sent it to you and make sure it's real. This is the one that most people get tricked with. Let me just check the chat here a second. Best Buy is really bad. Yeah, I hear that, Linda. I've heard that Best Buy is one that they use to scam people a lot with. Okay, so let's look at one more. And I said, okay, so here's another one. And this one is an application you got, for a job. Now, if someone is canvassing, trying to get a job, you've sent out tons and tons of resumes to the point where you can't even remember where you've sent your resume to. They can put a virus in a doc as well. Modern Word documents have an X on the bottom. If it's a .doc, be very careful because don't click on the attachment. Make sure that you're actually contact them first. Hey, I just got this about the hiring process. I'm excited to get the job. Can you tell me more about this attachment you sent me? And verify. So be careful with attachments. This is the main way. The other ones you can kind of read through and you get it, but the ones where it has like a glimmer of truth to it, and they keep it very vague, hoping you'll click on the attachment, this is where 80% of the stuff will get through. All right, let's look at just one more. Here's another example of one. Mandatory software update notice. This one, the attachment is a .zip. So the three most used attachments on an email to give you a virus is a .zip, .pdf, or a .doc. Now this slides, I'm going to turn into a PDF for you so you can read it. So when you do get a copy of this PDF or you ask for this PDF, this is one that I am creating for you, and it's safe. So because you will get a copy of all of these notes at the end of these sessions. So, but those three types are the ones you really need to be careful about. Okay. So I'm going to stop there and just see if anyone has any questions or thoughts about these different techniques that are used to abuse your email.
There was one posted a while back from LL Bean, and they had like this great buy on polo shirts, and it was like unbelievable. So I knew something was amiss. So I called the company, and they knew that some other group was putting out something that was not from them. And again, you know, this cheap thing, but then the service rate that you had to pay and the postage that you had to pay was like unbelievable. And it was kind of shady. So you really have to be, you know, careful with what you're looking at, what you're reading, and how you interpret what they're trying to sell you.
And you're exactly right. And it's exactly like I was saying in the beginning, just like if you're walking down the street and you get that strange feeling that it's not going to be okay, trust your instincts. All right. You're intelligent, wonderful people. And I do see Linda's question about what do you suggest to protect yourself is exactly that. You can have so many different ways to protect yourself. You can get virus protection. You can get all of these things.
Right.
But the most important protection you have online is your wonderful brain. Evaluate everything that comes across, just like Marie was describing. If it feels strange or if it seems too good to be true, take a step back and really look at it, and then use your phone to verify, just like Marie described. She went to the actual LL Bean and said, hey, I really want this shirt at this price, but it doesn't seem right. Can you tell me if it's right? And let me see.
Also-
P. Banano says, if you save an attachment, then you open it, your security system will stop it. That is an excellent point. If you have virus protection and it's updated, it can stop it. However, it's not foolproof, and not all virus protection is built the same. I personally have seen computers not do well, even though they were protected with McAfee, or they were protected with Norton, which are usually the two virus protections that come with your computer. If the virus protections are not updated, or if they've been turned off for any reason, things can get through. So just because the protection's there or you have it, it's not, doesn't mean that it's working. You have to always be on alert. Now, Windows Defender, which is also in the chat here, is an excellent virus protection. It's the one I personally use, mainly because it's free. And secondly, Microsoft's actually doing a very good job with running the updates through your regular Windows updates. So it's all kind of bundled in, and it's kind of a forget and go. But again, I don't just say, okay, I got Windows Defender. I can just click and open and do whatever I want, and I'm not going to pay attention. Paying attention is your best protection. And I like Windows Defender. There really isn't any virus protection for Macs. And that's mainly because everything with a Mac is so locked down between your keychains and things have to be in their store in order to install it. So there's very few virus protections for Macs.
Apple's lock on their products.
No, but
Yeah.
not necessarily this kind of thing.
Okay.
I also, Pam, the other thing about all of these, they're so generic. I mean, if you're ever going to get anything like these from a major company, they're going to address it to you. I mean, I don't want to say 100% of the time, but usually you'll get it to, Beth Gordon or Ms. Gordon or whatever. I mean, you still have to look and check to see where else there would be some vulnerable, type things, but some of them, these are just so generic, and you do get them. You just fall for it so easily. But if it's dear user and then support team from where? They always put their name of the company that they're sending it from. They should always anyway. Doesn't mean that it isn't a bad, a bad email, but most of the time you'll get something that's specifically from a company that you've dealt with before. These are pretty generic, and you go, oh my God.
Yep, but just, like I said, be alert, because sometimes every once in a while, I mean, they try every single bank that's out there, just hope to see if they grab the person who actually banks there. I mean, I've gotten things like this from Bank of America.
Yeah.
I've never banked with Bank of America.
So there you go.
So there you go. But
Mm.
my sister has.
Yeah.
So she could think that it was something like that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Sure.
So let's now move on a little bit to social media. And I'm going to show you one of the most used ways to trick people on social media. And that is this. So every once in a while, when you're on Facebook, you'll see something like this that says, someone in heaven loves me. Share if you love someone in heaven, or I know I'm ugly. You see how this cute little puppy, this is, and you keep resharing, and everyone reshares it to prove that they love someone, or they're patriotic, or they want to pray for someone, or they want to support a cause. And what this is really doing is on Facebook, you may notice, or like Instagram, when you share something, a few months later, it goes down on the feed, way, way, way down. You'd have to scroll, 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 and you kind of forget that it happened. You forgot that you shared this. Won't even get one share, or like the puppy. The people who create this can edit their post. So after it's disappeared from your mind and disappeared from your world, they will change that picture of the puppy into something else. Maybe a link to get cheap prescription drugs, or they'll use it as a link in order to create their own viruses and stuff. So if you get these things where it's asking you to share, don't share with that. If it's really something you feel passionate about, like if you really feel passionate about animal rights or whatever, make your own post. Don't reshare something like this, because it's actually trying to get access or into your Facebook account. If you've done this in the past and you haven't had someone come to you and say, oh my gosh, I think your Facebook account has been hacked, or, you're fine. You haven't been hurt, but just keep in mind, by sharing these kind of things, either through email or stuff, it's actually a way that they're trying to use the space in order to promote their own links or their own activities. Okay, so just so you know that. All right, and then we're gonna go, and now, like I said, you'll get a copy of this in your face.
What
Okay,
about on
yes.
what about on Facebook,
Mhm.
where they'll say something and then they'll say, click on comments. The information is in the first comment,
Yes.
and they want you to click on a link there.
Yep. Same thing.
Scam.
Same thing. And that's a way that they want you to actually see, like, here's the answer to the riddle. And if you go into click in the comments, they try and hide the comments link to look like it. So you click somewhere else, or you go somewhere else. So be aware
Don't
of
do it.
these. Yeah, be aware of these things on Facebook. Okay, because sometimes they are they are malware, or there are ways to try and
Oh,
get around you.
that was an
Yep.
excellent question that she just asked, because you see
Mhm.
that all the time on Facebook.
Yeah,
And
you
it's like,
do.
should I click or should I not? Do I want to know what's going on? And just kind of
Yeah.
go, great question. Great one.
Yep. And a lot of times what I'll do if I see something on Facebook and I'm like, wow, I really want to know what the answer to that riddle is, or what is going on in the world right now. Like, quite honestly, I've crossed the Key Bridge so many times visiting my sister in Maryland. When I saw that on social media, I went off of social media and I checked actual news websites to see if that was true, rather than quickly trying to click and verify from within Facebook. Because for me, that just seemed surreal. I didn't think that something like that could happen to the Key Bridge. Unfortunately, it did. So whenever I see something, instead of trying to verify from inside that social media, I will move away from social media and I'll either turn on my television or visit an accredited news site to try and find out the true information.
Like 9/11.
Yeah, 9/11, I wouldn't think that was real either. That was unfortunately was, but no, that didn't seem possible. So whenever something seems incredible, sometimes it is real and sometimes it's fake. So like a lot of times these things will also show up. It's like, oh, did you know it's so tragic? This celebrity disappeared, died, whatever. And that trick has been going around forever, because they said Paul McCartney died, I know. years ago. My mom's agreeing with me. So here, I'm going to talk about Facebook right now, but all social media sites have a settings and privacy setting. And we're going to go into Facebook and I'll actually go through it. On the desktop version, when I click on my profile picture, I have settings and profile privacy here. And if you're using a mobile device, whether it's an iPad or a cell phone, you're going to click on the 3 bars on the side and find settings and privacy. And we'll look now at some of the things you can find in settings and privacy. So let me bring this down a second and we'll go into Facebook. Okay. And I'm just going to use Facebook as an example, but because many people use Facebook. So like I was saying before, if I click on my account settings, go to settings and privacy, I have a privacy checkup here where I can click it and it'll go and automatically go through the different settings that are available that you can change. Here is my privacy center where I can do things. I can do things here. So there's a privacy checkup. And if I click on that, I'm going to check my privacy. And on your privacy checkup, you can decide who can see what you share on social media. So I can decide, do I only want people I've said are my friends to see what I post? Or do I want everybody in the world and the public to see it? Sometimes everyone seeing it's a good choice if you're like an artist or an author and you're promoting yourself. But for some others, you might not want to. Here, how can people find you? Can they just type in your phone number and find you on social media? If they know their email address, can they find you on social media? You can decide whether or not people can find you that way. And then ad preferences, you can also turn off so you don't get as many ads in here. So here's, go through the privacy settings in your social media. If you use different social media, that's not Facebook, like today, I could do a whole other section on how to lock down your accounts. But if you use Instagram, if you use Twitter, if you use Snapchat, LinkedIn, you use any site and you're not 100% sure how you're being seen or how you're being found on the internet, Google it. Google Twitter privacy settings and find out how do you get to these different panels. So here I have that only me can find me by email. but you can change that. Friends, public, custom, you can exclude people from in here. You can decide who can see my birthday. So if I don't want the world to know that my birthday, if I don't want, say here, I can say everybody knows I'm born on May 16th, but I decide, meh, I'm not sure I want everybody to know I'm in my 50s. So I made that only me. So you can change who gets to see your public, your friends, who's following you. So go through your settings, because if you have public settings and someone Googles information, they will be able to find the stuff you put on your social media. So if you've had a comment about someone you didn't like, or if you have a political comment, or you're angry about something that's happened and it's a public comment and not one you're just sharing with friends, it could get you into hot water. There have been people who've been fired for writing what they thought was a cute message to their friends, ended up being completely misconstrued, and it blew up on them. So check your privacy settings whenever you can. Okay. Now, another few tips that you should know about using social media too is be careful what you share. If you're on vacation, don't post the pictures of your vacation while you're on vacation, because you've just announced to everyone your house is not occupied. And you can go in, they can go into your house, maybe break into your shed, I don't know. So don't do that. When you come home from your vacation is when, if you want to share your vacation pictures, wait until you're home and then share. Do not let people know that you're out. You okay, Mom?
Yeah.
Okay. You need some water?
No.
Okay. The other thing is, if you're taking a picture, be mindful of your background. So if you're trying to protect your privacy, make sure you're not standing in front of your house with your address numbers behind you. Okay. A lot of times on Facebook too, you'll see like these survey questions that says, hey, 50 questions about me. Next person on the list has to answer the 50 questions. And the questions will be like, where did you have your first kiss with your husband? Where were you born? Where's your mother's maiden name? And it seems like a very innocent and sweet survey to share with friends. But if you think about what your security questions would be for banking, when they want, if you forgot your password and you have to answer a few security questions, a lot of times buried in those long lists of let's get to know you phrases and things is the information that they would need to become you and to do identity theft. So think very carefully. Or one person I knew was so excited that they got concert tickets to see Willie Nelson. They've been dying to get see Willie Nelson. And they took a picture of their tickets with the barcode.
No.
So the person was able to recreate those Willie Nelson tickets and get to the venue early, fast, and get their seats. And they had no way to prove that they were the owners. So if you're going to post any pictures, also be mindful of barcodes. Okay. Be mindful of any kind of identification that you might email. Now, I did need to email my license for my new job because it's a fully remote job. So if you have to send your license or a picture of a passport or anything that's your identification, make sure that you're sending it to the right person, that they've received it, that now that they've received it, they've ensured that they've deleted it. So be very, very careful with all of those things. Also, with your cell phones and your mobile devices, I do recommend having one of those pins to close, so when your phone hasn't been touched for a while, you turn it on and you have to put in, either have it show your face, use your fingerprint, or put your PIN number in there. Because if you lose your phone, you don't want someone to be able to then access your world. You know how much is evolved in your phone between the people the ways that you bank. Some people use it to even like check out at the cash register. You'll see that they'll use it and they'll pop it on top of the cash register and use that to connect that way too. So for all those things, I mean, these are like, I'm just like kind of giving you a little bit of a laundry list of the ways that you can stay safe. And I'm going to pause for a second, see if anybody has any questions or comments about that before I move on to the next section.
Well, what about two-step verification if you're only using your iPad at home?
I think two-step verification is a fantastic thing, and I do use it for all of my devices, because you never know when you end up bringing your iPad. Like today, my mom and I went to the hospital to visit someone, and because we knew we were going to be there for a few hours, Mom normally doesn't take her iPad anywhere, but she decided, I'm going to take my iPad because maybe I can look at TikTok and I can play some games while I'm waiting. So if she left her iPad in the bathroom or somewhere outside and it was picked up, someone could get her stuff. And also, if you don't have the two-factor authentication on, someone can then flip that iPad and make it their own. They can do what's called a factory reset, wipe it completely out, and remake it like it's a brand new iPad and register it to themselves.
Wow.
And one of your little, a young person coming to use your iPad, because sometimes when you have young people come, you give them the iPad, go play Candy Crush, and says, we're trying to have cocktails and snacks right now, kiddo. If it doesn't have the two-factor authentication, they could not intentionally, but accidentally flip that iPad and change all your settings on you. So even if you're not taking that iPad outside your house, it's still a good idea. I mean, you can set it that it's like maybe 5 minutes. So it's not like every 30 seconds you put it down. I hate doing this code. I have to do this code all the time, gets annoying. I think you can go out as far as 5 minutes before it locks up on you, but I would recommend it. And again, any security feature that I recommend to you is my personal recommendation. It's not gospel. You always control your devices and secure your devices with what makes sense to you, because you are in charge of your devices. You're intelligent, wonderful people, and you get to make your security decisions. What I do and it works for me doesn't mean it has to be your world. If no one's touching my iPad, it never leaves the house, it's never going to leave the house, I don't want to unlock it all the time, that's an acceptable security decision because you know your world and you know what's right for you. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right, so now I'm going to show you a beautiful job that Rojan's doing, and we're going to do a little bit about Google searches. I'm going to go to Google here a second. And I am going to search for Rojan Library. Now to start off here, when I'm in the website here and I've searched for Rojan Library, if I scroll down, you see how it has the HTTPS right there? Whenever you're searching for websites, before you click, make sure you see that S. There it is again. Good stuff. See how it shows up? It doesn't show up on every site. Sometimes, the like here's GrowGen Library at X, the Instagram, their applications, but website should have the S. So as you're searching for websites, before you click, look for that underneath it and look for that S and make sure it's not HTTP : // Another thing, and I'm just going to look for, let's say, new cars. Now, also, when you're searching or doing a search, you see how the word sponsored shows up in front here? Sponsored. Now, these are all valid sites, but sometimes the someone who's doing a fake site or a bad site, they will pay to be a sponsored advertisement. So whenever you're going to click on a website, if it says sponsored, take another close look at it. Make sure it's got the S, make sure it's not an HTTP. And sometimes, just because, I will scroll down past the sponsor and I'll start picking the things underneath it. So it could do something like discount coupons. Sorry, I can't spell tonight. Say I have sponsored Capital One, sponsored Groupon, sponsored Cooper. Not sure what these are. Rankins, Groupon. There's gonna be a lot of so scroll down past any of the sponsored ads before you start clicking. Okay, and I'm looking at something here. It says when you speak about streaming, when you wrongly click a link, you're told not to turn off your computer but call a number. And then they tell you, yes, this happens to my friend Gus all the time. And it's a screaming computer, and it says, or we've detected you doing illegal activity, you need to call us now, and you da da da. And it's just this, like, it has like an alarm noise, and it just keeps repeating itself over and over and over again. Relax when it happens. It's not a virus. It's not malware. What you need to do is put your device on mute so it stops screaming at you, because even it annoys me and I start getting nervous because the noises it makes, and it's very loud. And then do what's called a hard boot of your computer, which usually means holding down the power button, or on your iPad or on your phone, hold down the power button until it forces it to turn off. Then wait 10 seconds, turn on your computer again. And when you go back to Chrome or Safari or Firefox, and you click on that, and it asks you, this terminated unexpectedly, do you want to open those tabs up again? Say no. Say no. And it'll bring you right back to where everything should be. It'll be back to normal, and everything will be okay. If you're using a PC, you can do a Control-Alt-Delete and like end Chrome or end Firefox, but that's a little more advanced. The easiest way to do it is do what's called a hard boot, a hard turn off. And I'm really glad you asked this question, PB, P Banano, because that's an excellent question and important information. So that's the best way to, and whenever it asks, do you want to restore those tabs? That means it's bringing back that crazy screaming website again. So nope, don't need it. Sorry. And then you may lose the other tabs that you had open, but you won't have to deal with that screaming website anymore. Okay, and it's almost 7:45, so I'm going to stop here a second. I'm going to share that PowerPoint with Tammy. So you have the examples of the phishing, the examples of the different attachments, some of the reminders and things. So you'll see the copy of this video. If you need to refer to it again, you'll have that PowerPoint to go through. It will be a PDF because not everybody has PowerPoint, so I always change it to a PDF, but this is a known PDF. It'll be coming from your trusted librarian. So you can open that one and keep it and save it and work for it. So although I am technically done, if you'd like to leave now, it's not an insult to me. I'm happy that you came out. I'm glad that I hope you come to the next one. We'll do ChatGPT. But if you still have more questions that I didn't cover, I'll be the last one to leave. I will stick around until every single question has been answered. So, and if you have questions in the future and you think of something later, I'm like, oh, what was that? I'm putting my email in the chat. So if something comes up and you have a question that goes beyond, you're like, oh my gosh, something just came up. I need help with this. Or a question came up that I forgot to ask during that session. Email
Pam,
me. I'll be very happy to talk to you.
Pam,
Yes.
Kirsten Bates, who I think is still on, I'm not sure. She had a question before. It has nothing to do really with scams and phishing.
Okay.
But she wants to know how you get rid of cookies and tracking. But cookies I mean, I always want to know how to get rid of all your cookies that are there.
Okay. Well, it depends
Kirsten, are you
on the
still-
different
is Kirsten
routes.
still here? I don't know if she's still
She's
on.
still-
There she is. Kirsten's on.
Thanks, Anita. So the way to get rid of the cookies, and not every cookie is bad. Well, not all the tracking things are bad either. But if you want to get rid of them in each of your browsers, you want to go to the history setting. So you go over to the three dots like on Chrome, and I'm just going to show this on Chrome. Here a second. Share. And so here, if I go over to the three dots on this side of Chrome,
Wait.
go to history over here. So I'm over on the far right, the three dots, and I go to history here and click on that. There we go. I have my full history here. So if I click that, here is where I can clear my Chrome's history. I can clear by date. I can clear by group. I can clear the browsing data, which is where you find your cache. Here's your cookies and other site data. And check this box off and you can clear it. So you can do that. The cached and image files you can clear as well. And what a cached and image file is, every time you visit a website, it downloads all the pictures, all the links, all the text, all the stuff into a little cached version, almost like putting it into a tiny little pocketbook. So that if you ever return to that website and you happen to be offline, it'll still load the content for you. It'll also load the content faster. So if you visit a certain website, like we'll say National Geographic all the time, it doesn't download the logos all the time and allows your performance to go faster. But as this gets bigger and bigger, your computer might go a little slower. So every once in a while, you can clear this too. All right. Cookies and other site data. If you wanted it to be cleared, you would click this in Chrome. You would look for the similar thing in Firefox, in Safari.
Where would that be on Safari?
Hang on. Let me find it.
Sorry.
Clear cache, because I'm using a PC, so I can't demonstrate it, but I'll get that for you in a second here. Safari. Okay. So yours is going to be, once you're using the app, or are you using a computer, a Mac?
No, I'm using an iPad.
Okay. So you're going to open your settings app, the gray gear that's on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then in that list, look for Safari. And once you tap Safari, there'll be a button that says clear history and website data.
Okay.
And that's where you would clear your cookies on there.
Okay. But that's when you clear your cookies, that's going to clear your logins and passwords for the sites that you visit.
No, that would be different. That would be different than your password manager. The cookies are just information about you and how you visit. It's not like your personal information, but for the webmaster, they'll get a report that says 1 million people with iPads visited your site, 1 million people with PCs visited your site, 10,000 people with Androids visited your site, and they get a report of where people are coming from to visit their site based on IP address. So say 60,000 people with iPhones from New York have visited your site. 80,000 people in California with iPads visited your site, and they'll get this report and they'll decide how they want to rework their site. So many people are visiting with cell phones. They'll make sure the cell phone version of their website is slick and beautiful, able to be navigated easily without having to pinch and zoom and do all these things. But if a majority of people are visiting with PCs, they'll spend their resources and time making sure their PC traffic, or if they're selling things, they realize that so many people are coming from California. They may change their shipping costs to reflect how much taxes would be in California for those residents. So cookies is really used as information to find out the traffic and to judge the traffic that is moving and flowing through. Your password.
I was talking about cache.
Right, and cache is when they're saving just a copy on your device, a copy of the website you visited. So when you visit them again, they load faster. So if you visit like National Geographic and there was a picture of a water buffalo and a giraffe and an elephant, and there was a huge text and there was information about being a subscriber, and that whole page would take 30 seconds to load, it would save a copy of that site. So the next time you go back, the site would load in 2 seconds because you already have that information stored locally on your computer. And that's a cached version of the site. So the cookies is a way to give information to a webmaster about how to better their site. A cache site is put there in order to make the sites load faster for you, or for you to be able to visit that site if you have to need the information, but you're not online, you have a copy of it. So cookies and cache are kind of like little flotsam and jetsam of the internet that can either, speed up your computer, but it's almost like an oil change on a car. I clear my cache like every 6 months. Because the cache does help things move along, but just like old oil in a car, the older the oil, the worse your car is going to run. I mean, it's brown, it's ugly, it's dirty. Your car could start slowing down. So while they're not dangerous, they do over time, if they haven't been changed or cleared out, they do affect the performance of your computer, much like an overdue oil change on a car. But not necessarily horrible or dangerous.
Okay, thank you. When
Okay.
you record these meetings, how do we access them on the Rojan library website if we want to go back and review them?
They are, they're up. I'm sorry, Pam. Don't mean to interrupt
Go
you.
ahead.
But they are. So I've got the recording, and I send the recording to the library when they configure it or they upload it to the website. It usually takes a couple of days, and then you have to go on the site. And I think there's an area, I can't remember if it's under adult programming. I'm not sure where it is, but you're going to have to search a little bit through the website, and there'll be recordings of actually the past. I think all this series are up there for now. This year's series are all up there. You should be able to get all the previous ones as well. But it takes a couple of days, so you have to wait.
So.
I would go wait till Monday.
Okay, thank you, Beth.
And look there. You're welcome.
Maybe a little bit longer this time too, because it's kind of a holiday weekend. I think
it?
the library is closed.
Yeah.
Oh, right. It's
Yeah,
Easter, right. Yeah.
Good Friday,
Um,
It's
Easter.
Easter Sunday.
Yeah,
So
look-
I would give
look-
them just a
Yeah, I was gonna say
little
look on
extra
Friday,
time.
but that might be too soon. Today's Wednesday, so depending.
Yeah.
I send it tomorrow and they
Yeah.
get it up. So yeah.
Yeah, I think they usually do it over the weekend, but like I said,
Mhm.
I think it's abbreviated hours at the Rojan
Right.
this weekend. So
Pam, the two-step verification for devices, is that just, it goes out off after a certain time and you have to put your password back in? Or it's not two separate passwords that you need?
No, it's not two separate passwords, but it's two different points of entry. So if I were to try and log into my bank,
Mhm.
I would log in and then it would say, okay, to verify who you are, please put your fingerprint on the phone. So even if I have a correct password,
Oh, I
the
see.
second
Okay,
step would be my fingerprint, or
okay,
I might get a phone call, or sometimes you'll get, okay, to verify who you are, we're going to send a code, a text message code, and you'll have to enter this code. You know, so that's a two-factor authentication.
okay. All right, I got it now. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. This has been very informative tonight.
Yeah,
Wow,
I'm glad you liked it.
excellent. Yeah, very
Yeah,
good.
share the information, you know,
Yeah, will
become
do.
the cyber gurus of your family and your friends. Tell them, warn them about gift cards and
Yep,
phishing and spam, because now you're mini experts. Go out and spread the
exactly.
word, especially
Definitely
about the
gonna share
Facebook
it.
memes.
Yeah, definitely going to
'Cause-
share it with my husband. I'll tell you that much. Hey, happy Easter, everybody. Take care.
Happy
All right.
It's been
Easter.
great. Look
Thank you.
forward to the
Thank you
next
very
ones.
much.
Oh,
You're
Thank you all.
welcome. You're welcome. I say how we, I said I'm sticking around till the last person leaves. So, and if eventually I do a countdown, if
Mhm.
nobody has any questions.
Make up your mind, because otherwise.
Thanks,
Because I
Judy.
really hate closing the door on someone and then, you know, because sometimes they turn on the camera, they had to go change the laundry, whatever, you know.
I don't care, but you shouldn't wait till the end.
I have a question. I did put it in
Sure.
chat, but I'm
Okay.
constantly bombarded with these emails now, spam, that
Mm,
I don't want to change my addresses again, but I block them all the time. I consistently block
mm.
every single sender. Doesn't make any difference. Maybe I have less volume, but
Okay.
what
Well,
do you
let me
think?
show you what I do. I'm
Okay.
going to open up my email and give you a teaser on this one. Hang on, let me just share my screen. And we go into Gmail, and I'm using Gmail, but the same feature
Uh-huh.
is usually available. Okay, so here, hey, movie fans, these faves are coming to Cinemax. Now, this is a real thing, Cinemax. I've been getting these, and I actually left this as an example for tonight.
Okay.
Mainly because I do get Cinemax or this Max for free through AT&T. I like it, I watch it, but I really don't want to get 3 of these a day.
Right.
You know, it's annoying. So Gmail gives you an unsubscribe button here, which you can use to unsubscribe. Or what works better, in my opinion, is you go to the very, very bottom of one of these emails and you select unsubscribe as opposed to blocking.
These are
Because
they're false people. If you look at the
Mhm.
address, and I'm blocking them in Microsoft, in Outlook constantly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I don't want to.
when you're doing
I
an
don't.
Outlook, are you using the report spam feature in Outlook, or how are you blocking them?
I right click on the a drop down menu
Mhm.
that blocks sender.
Okay.
But I don't want to go into the emails and look for an unsubscribe, because they're not businesses, they're scammers.
Right.
Tell by
Okay,
their
so
addresses.
okay, so one thing I would add there, and I'm just gonna, and this is an example of a two-factor authentication here. Let me just get my phone. And just, let's see here.
Oh,
Sign in 60.
yeah, in the inbox,
So let me just,
when I right click on the email unopened, you get a choice of blocking senders or safe senders, and doesn't stop.
right. And I'm still trying to get
Okay.
into my world here a second. 84. I hit the wrong button before. 84, yes. Approve. There we go. Now I'm in. Let me just go into Outlook here a second. Because I happen to use Outlook with my university.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Let's go into deleted emails for now, because I'll just grab one of these things here. So here's LinkedIn. Okay, so what you're using is,
No, I'm in my inbox.
you're in your inbox, okay?
And then I right click on the ones that I know are,
Let me move one of these into my inbox so I have one there. Because I keep my inbox pretty clean.
oh, okay.
Okay, so you right click on your inbox, right?
So now here's the link in. I think that's a phony one, so I right click
Right.
on it. And then at the
Right.
bottom, it says block sender. See on the
Right.
block
So,
one. Oh, you're going to rules instead of
yeah,
block?
well, I would block it. Before I block it, I'd also create a rule. And if I go to create rule, I will
Uh-huh.
say always move messages from LinkedIn to, and then I would put it into deleted items or move to a different folder. So the different folder could be the junk email
Oh.
folder. So I don't even bother seeing them. Unfortunately, Outlook is terrible at detecting spam and getting rid of spam. I flag them sometimes as
Okay,
problems, but once I block them,
yeah.
I set a rule too. Because like I said, Outlook is not always the best at detecting junk mail. But I have to use Outlook for both work and for school. So if I get annoyed by something that I keep getting, I do this create rule and I say, and as soon as it sees the word LinkedIn, boop, it's gone. It goes
Okay,
right into
that
my
helps.
it's going to help. It's not going to be the end of the world, or it's not going to be perfect, but at least it will make your inbox a little more manageable.
And
Unfortunately, it depends a lot on your IT department, or if you're using just Outlook normal, that Microsoft is pretty crummy at detecting the Facebook and the spam and all that kind of stuff that could come through. But that'll help. That'll definitely help.
thank you.
Sure.
I'm going to say goodbye.
Okay. Thank you for coming out.
It was
appreciate it.
excellent. It was
Bye,
excellent.
Paulette.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I hope I help you all take control of your computers. All right.
Yeah.
So we have
Thank you.
6 people left. Let's see if there's any more questions. Otherwise, I'm going to start my 10-second countdown for saying goodnight to everyone. All right. So interrupt me anytime if you have a question. 10, 9,
Night, Pam.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So I will see you all next week.
Next week. Good night,
All right.
everyone.
So good night, everyone. Thank you for coming out.
Good night, Pam.
Good night.